Coming through that, Yasser Mohammed, Vatsal Vaghela. So in the American cricket community that the youngsters should be getting to his international career. Kind of coming through that, Yasser Mohammed, Vatsal Vaghela. There was Gulshan Jah is probably going to save 3 runs. Yeah, and I love to see youth shine, and it's something. Kind of coming through that, Yasser Mohammed, Vatsal Vaghela. There was
something to watch for, but I think everyone knows that they want the best 11 out there, but I think they're happy to see Mukamala get those opportunities. I think they would like to see Yasser Mohammed get in the mix a little bit more often and see a little bit more of those guys. Rithik Mahera was part of that series as well, hasn't come back to colors. Vatsal Vaghela really had a couple tours after that. Sanjay Krishnamurthy hasn't been back. I think he's the one that people are asking, would he not be in your best 11 right now just with the major league he had?
He was brilliant in Major League Cricket, wasn't he?
He was great on this ground, had a 70 to beat the Washington Freedom, the eventual champions, chasing a total, batting at 3 or 4 throughout the tournament. Didn't really have a bowl, but is another one of those left-arm spinners you can operate with, and there's a lot of those young cricketers that are starting to come up. We've seen Ayan Desai get an opportunity to debut. Abhishek Bharakar is part of this side. So you're starting to see the youth continue to influx, with some notable exceptions, but I think the best thing for USA is to put the best 11 out there on the field.
Well, fielded again by Bertel down at long on. We've spoken a lot about the batting options, but what about the fast bowling options? With the exception of Ali Khan, who I think clearly USA are saying they can't play him 2 days in a row because he's obviously had some injury problems. There's a lack of pace in this American 11. Brody Couch, someone like Cameron Stevenson, where are those kind of guys?
Yeah, you'd imagine they would have to be on the next in, right? The Brody Couches, the Cameron Stevens, the Cornet Dries of the world who has become eligible. Again, we've mentioned Ayan Desai. Rushil Agarkar had a great major league. He's someone who's really bright and upcoming in the USA scene. So, again, a lot to lay out for, and I think plenty of improvement to come for the USA. 11 gone at 76 for 3.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई-सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just ₹760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the e-sewa app and secure your future today.
Rado. Now his wife's in Denmark on a work trip, and even I was nudging in to the frame. Arif Sheikh was in high school with Jay Lamachani. That's the lovely small connection that Nepal has, even though it's a country of 30 plus million people. And we heard from him in the pre-game show. You might not have seen it, but the Nepal players, they are the most wonderful ambassadors, I have to say, and they were happy to give up their time. Asif and Arif, and then Lalit Rajbanshi, who's got the ball in his hand here. I know you had a chat to him. How inspirational a story was that?
Oh, he's just so passionate. I think that's the brilliant thing about it. He was just so willing, and the desire to want to follow the team and love that he showed for Nepali cricket. And he also talked about wanting a visually impaired USA cricket team. He wants to be able to play cricket on American soil.
This one's hit into the leg side. Bertel's going to have to go a long way to get there, but he does really well. And it's Kushal Malla who goes with him and affects the direct hit that nearly costs a third. His passion and his knowledge for the game as well, Ahmad, incredible. He seemed to know everything about Peter de la Pena, every tweet that he's ever sent. He was incredibly complimentary about your commentary, and I think something, I spent a lot of time with him yesterday. He's flown in for both of the games on the weekend and again today. Something we might forget about sometimes here in the box. We're very lucky to be able to call the game, that some people might not be able to actually see it. And our descriptions actually almost providing the pictures for Jay. So been an honour and a pleasure to meet him today, and our thanks to the Nepal team for coming over and spending some time with him before the start of the game.
Yeah, this is what sport's all about, isn't it? It's just nowhere else does this kind of happen, where you see all these communities start to converge and you get to affect people in different ways, and he's affecting us, I think, as much as we affect his viewing experience. And again, so great to hear from him and just have a chat with this guy who's just so clearly so passionate about cricket.
He's also told me that his wife's going to be incredibly jealous that he got to be on global television, interviewed. He did a good job as well, I'll tell you, for someone who might never have been on TV before. But he's coming back next week for the ODIs, and he's going to fly in with his wife. So we'll look forward to seeing them there again. Just one of the story of the thousands of Nepalese origin fans that have visited us here. And they have really made for a spectacular atmosphere. It's the inaugural edition of this Stake Stars and Summits trophy. Do you think it's going to be something that we might see on an annual basis, maybe every 2 years? Could it be brought back to Nepal even?
I hope so. Again, we've seen the Nepali crowd come out here, even the USA fans. I saw Go Pack Joe Phil was here the other night, and so you're seeing the fan bases start to rally around it, and there's certainly rivalry involved. So it would be awesome to see it get back to Kathmandu, maybe get into Nepal with those crowds, and obviously bring it back here to the Grand Prairie Stadium. 12 overs have come and gone. It's 83 for 3.
दाइ फोन पे चल्छ है चलिहाल्छ नि भन्नुस् अब पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो
पैसा पठाउने र पाउने छिटो सजिलो र सुरक्षित माध्यम फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौं फोन पे गरौं
So, still no signs of Dipendra Singh Airi and still no signs of Kushal Bertel. Certainly Rohit Powdell seems to be reading this pitch and maybe the strength of his bowling attack a little bit differently to the way I see it. He's going to continue to go with Gulshan Jha. He bowled all 4 overs consecutively last night, didn't he, in the middle overs, almost performing that Liam Plunkett kind of enforcer role. Is there a reason why he's just choosing not to go with his spinners too often?
I wish I could tell you, Lenny. I wish I could get inside his head, but the way I kind of see the way he's using his options now, these are options that he'll use in the ODI series. Lalit Rajbanshi is going to get overs. You're going to see the fact that Arif Sheikh is going to bowl a couple of overs in this stadium. Gulshan Jha will also bowl. So he's just, it seems like, readying his side for the longer formats, getting the pieces that he knows he's going to use consistently out there. And I think he feels very comfortable that whenever he gives Dipendra Singh Airi the ball, that he's going to strike no matter what the situation is.
Tell you something Gulshan Jha has been very good at, those leg cutters. Isn't a huge change of action. The arm speed seems to me to be very similar, but there's a big differential then because Jha's one of the few Nepali pacers who's capable of getting it up north of that 130 kilometres an hour. So when he rolls the finger, that middle finger down the ball and bowls that leg cutter, it just feels as though the timing disappears for the USA batters.
And it's the length that he bowls as well. It doesn't typically pitch it up, so everything's back of a length or on it. And because he's so tall, he gets a little bit of extra bounce, and then the cutter comes in, you're playing for it, and then it's come off the bottom end of your bat.
Kamala just 4 away from what would be another T20 50. USA haven't announced their ODI squad yet. Can't imagine we'll see Ali Khan in it, although we'll have to wait for it to be officially announced. Any insight you've got for us as to who might come in?
Again, we'll have to see what the A team produces, and again, I know a lot of people want to see some of the use of Sanjay Krishnamurthy try to get into that squad. I reckon it's going to be pretty similar to the one we saw in Namibia and in the series before that as well in the Netherlands. And again, who that pace option is going to be. Do they keep it with Chinoy Drysdale, Abhishek Butterkar, or do they go back to an Anand Desai?
There's been a few strange ones though as well, isn't there? Someone like a Nitish Kumar was in the T20 squad in Netherlands and in Namibia, but he's not in this T20 squad here. Is he?
No, he isn't. They've elected to
there
go
has
with...
been some strange stuff, isn't
You're right, there has. And Nitish Kumar's been predominantly seen, he was in the T20 side, and Milind Kumar was in the ODI team, and they almost had a role reversal. I think a lot of people expected Milind to be in the T20 side and Nitish Kumar to get more opportunities in the ODI setup, just more natural game for him. But they've seemed to mix around the bats quite well. Milind Kumar has proved to be the right man to be in here, but again, Nitish Kumar not being involved at all would just be very surprising to me. He lives in this area, so it would be an easy call-up for the USA to bring him in.
Yeah, if you're talking about other potential names that could get in the mix, someone like Sushant Madani hasn't been in the mix recently, but he's in that A squad alongside Krishnamurthy, Sushant Madani as well. Talented young Skanda Rohit Sharma, who's a good player. Be interesting to see if IN Desai can maybe force his way in, and a famous name. As this is pulled towards the shorter side, one bounce, and going to be 4, just out of the grasp of Anil Shah, who went to his right, thought he was interested for a moment, but he couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, real good innings this from Milind Kumar. He's kind of settled in to his batting. He hasn't found much success in this series, but you can see him standing on the crease. He's just waited for the short delivery, anticipated the cutter there, picked it, and put it away for 4.
I was just about to say that there's a famous name in that A squad, which we'll probably ask Peter Della Penna about in the next over. He's coming back in. Young Aaron Nadkarni, son of maybe one of the most famous American players of all time. This time down the ground, Long On's going to have to do well, and it's a misfield. And of all people, it's Kushal Bertel, who's usually outstanding there. I'm not sure he needed to attack it like that. Back-to-back boundaries, closes out the 13th. USA start to move. It's 95 for 3.
1, 2, 5, go!
Bye-bye.
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा
Regulation by their standards, and just a couple of little fumbles tonight. Always difficult with back-to-back T20Is, all the emotions of Nepal's unassailable series lead. And USA are just brewing something up all of a sudden. Bertel, the ball follows him, and they will get back for a second. Bid farewell for the moment to Aman Patel. Peter Della Penna rejoins me. Peter, you were listening to us talking about American team selection with the number of cricketers across the United States, with the number of leagues. It's going to be 50 for Saiteja Mukamala. We're talking about selection. He couldn't find his way into the starting 11 in the Netherlands, but he's done it now. And what a start he's had to his international career. It's just his 9th T20I, and it's already his 3rd 50. Very well played, young man. 4 4s, 1 6.
You talked earlier about how he's emerged as a role model for a lot of the youngsters coming out of different parts of America, and he's established a new precedent in terms of how to go about forging your way into the USA squad, because it used to be that a lot of players believed they would have to go overseas. As Milind Kumar gets a single here, they thought, well, we're not getting picked developing our cricket in America. If we want to get picked and showcase what we can do, we're going to have to go to university overseas, which is something that Abhishek Paradkar did. He went to university in Leeds. He's a few years older than Sai Mukamala.
Now, full toss, but it might have been hit ever so nearly down the throat of Kushal Bertel. The lack of timing there actually saved Mukamala, and he's going to ask for new gloves.
It was a little bit wet last night in terms of the dew, and that might be something that's starting to take effect. But yeah, Mukamala, he actually went to India when he was a teenager for a brief time.
The point I was going to make to you is that there is never a time in American cricket where selection is not a hot topic, and it's purely the and I suppose the disparity.
No, senor. Pitch up, please. Pitch up. Picture coming. Picture.
When you can have both. Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Mamma mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
Like in Andre's house or Milan Kumar, when you weigh their records up in India and South Africa prior to coming to the USA,
Picked up into the leg side. That's going to be all the way. It's the shorter side of the ground. The USA yesterday just allowed Gulshan Jah to bowl to them through these middle overs. Mukamala recognises that his fourth and final is one that they have to go after, and he starts in perfect fashion.
here it is again, that front foot pull. That's his trademark shot. Just plants that front foot. Doesn't matter what the length is.
Look who it is on the left of the screen.
Even
There he is.
Jay Lamichane can appreciate the sound coming off the bat of Sai Mukamala.
There he is. He's been hogging the TV time tonight, isn't he, Jay Lamachane?
But to go back to the point about Mukamala, he was coming out of that generation of players who felt initially like, well, I'm behind the eight ball being a lot of the players with first-class experience overseas. I'm going to need to prove that I can do it overseas as well. And so he went to Hyderabad for a year. He's got family roots in Telangana, and even though he's born and raised in New Jersey, his dad helped connect him with an academy opportunity in Hyderabad, and he hated it. The plan was to have Sai Mukamala be there for 3-4 years, and he was only there a little more than a year, may have been as little as 15 months, and he said, Dad, I can't take it anymore. I need to come back to New Jersey. And it's a case of a lot of it was off the field stuff. It wasn't just the training, as Milan Kumar is getting some treatment in between deliveries here, but it was a lot of the off-the-field stuff. You go to India, and he might be Indian heritage, but he's the American. He's different. He's not fitting in, maybe. And there were a lot of things that were happening when he went to Hyderabad that he just wasn't enjoying it. And so he said, I want to come back. And when he came back, part of wanting to come back, it coincided with the emergence of Major League Cricket, the MLC academies. He was training at Dream Cricket Academy in New Jersey, which became affiliated with MLC, and a lot of the connections that MLC had in terms of providing extra training opportunities.
That's going to be 4. Cut away. Maybe just an over too many for Gulshan Jah. Difficult at any stage of a modern T20 to bowl 4 on the bounce. And they're really going after the young pacer in his fourth and final.
Just too much width there. Milan Kumar uses the pace on the ball to guide this one behind point. Very well timed by Milan Kumar. But MLC, they've created opportunities not just through the MLC squads themselves in minor league cricket, but they've helped build up the infrastructure by enhancing more turf wickets around the country that didn't exist prior to MLC forming. Mukamala can set the standard for up-and-coming players that, hey, we don't have to go overseas. We can develop our games on domestic soil in the U.S. because there are more turf wickets available that we can play on and hone our skills. And with the enhanced standard of players that have arrived with the likes of guys like Andre's House and Milan Kumar in this squad, and you've got, again, the likes of Corey Anderson, Liam Plunkett, and others around the country, Lin Mukchand, et cetera, that litmus test for a guy like Sai Mukamala, he doesn't have to go overseas. He can test himself in New Jersey, in Texas, to see where he stands.
Half an appeal. That one's got to angle down the leg side. Leg by given by umpire Bandekar.
And more importantly, he's passed that litmus test. He knows where he stands. He's gotten the opportunities. He's proven himself. He's gotten a half century here. He's had a great start to his T20I career, and he's continuing with a tremendous partnership alongside Milan Kumar. And if more Sai Mukamalas can emerge, like some of the players Amit Patel was referencing earlier. Sanjay Krishnamurti, Vatsal Vagela, Ali Sheikh is another. Through that A squad, I think that would be a tremendous boost for cricket in America.
It's going to round out Gulshan Jaz's spell. His figures somewhat ruined by that fourth and final over, because 14 have come against his figures, 15 in total. End of the 15th, 116 for 3.
तितो औषधिबाट बच्नु छ भने लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ लिनु आउने गर्ने हातबाट कीटाणु मुखमा कुरु कुरु दब हुन्छ सबै रोग सुरु
त्यसैले लाइफ बोय स्ट्रङ यसले दिन्छ कीटाणुहरूबाट 100% स्ट्रङ सुरक्षा
जम्सबाट बच्न अब पाउनुहोस् 100 ग्रामको लाइफ बोय साबुन मात्र रु 45 मा
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु.
Maybe they've held him back is the lack of left-handers in the USA lineup if they're looking for a matchup play. Only Harmeet Singh is left-handed in this USA lineup, and he obviously hasn't arrived yet.
Cut away, and that's going to be cut away for 4. Not the line you want to bowl with the shorter offside boundary. Would have expected Irie to possibly be coming around the wicket from the start. He might do that now. And Mukamala just continues along his merry way.
Maybe part of the reason why he's been brought on here is, again, Mukamala likes to play in the air. Not necessarily slogging, but he'll go over the infield as they settle for one here. I think part of the reason why Irie might have been brought on here in this situation, he got Milan Kumar out. It was the game-changing over in the first T20I. He got Milan Kumar out after Milan Kumar had gotten set. And then the very next ball, it was that left-hander who came out, Harmeet Singh, and got him first ball, back-to-back balls. So maybe they're trying to conjure up some of that magic that Irie produced from the first T20I, targeting Milan Kumar, who he got out in that match.
And he's now around the wicket. It seems to be the more sensible angle as Irie himself hares after it, nearly gets there ahead of Kushal Patel, even though the ball departs outside the 30-yard circle. Excellent running though. They do get back for 2, and USA are very much humming here. They're thinking of what, 175, 180, if not more than that, Peter.
Well, from this stage they'd be very disappointed to finish anything less than 170. Especially when you've got a guy like Mukamala who's been there all innings. If he bats all 20, you never know. We could see USA's second T20I century.
Definitely in the mix. There's still 26 deliveries remaining. Mukamala would need to face a lot of them. And that's Irie off his own bowling. Brilliance of, and that's why I was surprised he bowled over the wicket for the first ball. The brilliance of this round the wicket angle. He in essence becomes an additional fielder. Rather than have the 9 outfielders, Irie makes it 10 because he works as a sort of a short mid-wicket. Finishes out that over well after the boundary from the first ball. 9 runs have come from it. 16 have been bowled. It's 125 for 3.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just rupees 760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the eSewa app and secure your future today.
Towards his neck. Now they're a little bit lower and his neck has got a little bit more breathing room. He's a bit more relaxed.
Well, change of decision, and a very late one, because Sampal Kami had taken his cap off and his jumper off and given it to umpire Samir Bandekar. And then I think what Rohit Powdell has done is he's gone over and he's checked his numbers as to which bowlers have bowled what. And he said, actually no, I want Rijan Dakal to bowl this one. Kami still has 2 left. So does that mean that Kami's going to bowl overs 18 and 20 from the pavilion end of the ground, this end of the ground? And then maybe it might have to be Dipender Singh Airi to bowl the 20th and final. There's plenty of options here, aren't there? He's not going to go back to Arif Sheikh or Kushal Malla, but the problem is he's one short, Peter, isn't he? Airi's going to have to bowl at least one more.
Yeah, as you said, Sambal-Kami's going to bowl 2 at the death. We know that. It's just a matter of filling out the rest of that final 4 overs.
Edged and put down. Not easy, but a definite chance. And Dakal applauds his keeper for getting something on it. The 20th and final. There's plenty of options here, aren't there? He's not going to go back to Arif Sheikh or Kushal Malla, but the problem is he's one short, Peter, isn't he? Airi's going to have to bowl at least one more.
Yeah, as you said, Sambal-Kami's going to bowl 2 at the death. We know that. It's just a matter of filling out the rest of that final 4 overs.
Edged and put down. Not easy, but a definite chance. And Dakal applauds his keeper for getting something on it.
Old phase, but he would have looked up to
Asif Sheikh got the dive in, but his hands weren't really ever in a position to hold. Dropped on 65. That will be a wide, 2 wide outside the off stump.
We've seen much more difficult chances taken in this series. And this one, this is wide. The previous delivery that Mukamala Face put down was a fairly regulation chance by wicket-keeping standards.
It would have broken the partnership, which would have been critical, because this 4th wicket partnership has changed the game. At 55 for 3, USA looked a bit all at sea, didn't they? But they fought back in a big way thanks to young Saiteja Mukamala and Milan Kumar, who is starting to impress more and more in international cricket. The 33-year-old, this is his highest score now in T20Is.
Well, Milan Kumar came out of the tour of Namibia in incredible form in one-day cricket. He scored one of the most magnificent centuries in USA history in the ODIs on that tour.
155, wasn't it? Off just 110 balls.
And that was after scoring 74 not out in the previous game. So his ODI form has been superlative. It's just a matter of transferring that to T20Is.
Good change of pace from Rijan Dakal. It was actually a 4th wicket partnership between these two. Mukamala was at a different position. He's at number 4. He made a century, 107 off 99 balls, and the two put on the best part of 200 together. So they clearly enjoy batting with each other. That was against UAE down in Windhoek less than a month ago.
Well, what was remarkable about it is they set the 4th wicket partnership record for USA together, and then 2 days later they broke it against UAE. They set it against Namibia, and then they raised the bar together again with 191 against UAE.
Chipped in the air and just out of the reach of Kushal Malla. You suspect if Dipender Singh Airi was there, that could have been a chance. But it's a really good fourth and final over from Rijan Dakal. He's going to finish with 4 overs, 1 for 23, the exact same figures as Lalit Rajbansi. 2 excellent left-arm bowling efforts. It's 131 for 3.
फोन पे चल्छ है चलिहाल्छ नि बस्नुस् अब पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो
पैसा पठाउने र पाउने छिटो सजिलो र सुरक्षित माध्यम फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौं फोन पे गरौं
He's been a real asset, and he's finished another excellent day for him. Sampal Kami's going to bowl overs 18 and 20, you'd imagine. It means that Rohit Paudal's going to have a bit of a conundrum as to who's going to bowl the 19th with the short leg side boundary for the 2 right-handers. And USA, they'll still be thinking 175, but they'll need 3 big overs to get there. Kami's going to come around the wicket. The momentum just being stifled a touch by Nepal.
Well, the previous 2 overs, USA took 16 runs off Gulshan Jha and then 9 off of Dipender Singh Airi and then just 6 off Rijan Dakal. And this is where they stuttered last night as well. No boundaries off the last 2 overs. Last boundary they scored was by Andres House. Just
he bowls him, and it's Kami again. Well, what a 48 hours he's having. He's been in this team for over a decade. One of Nepal's great servants, but I don't think he's ever had 2 better days consecutively in the blue and red of Nepal. The hero last night, he's turning into the hero again tonight, and Mukamala's wonderful innings come to an end.
Well, Sai Mukamala loves that front foot pull shot, and Sampal Kami used that against him. He's planted on the front foot. Sampal Kami took pace off the ball, and because he's always on the front foot, he threw the shot too early, can't keep his hands back long enough, and he's out bowled for 68. It's 131 for 4 in the 18th.
No, senor. Pizza, please. Pizza coming. Pizza.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Momo Mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
Yeah, they might think of a second here. Kami hares after it himself, and he won't be able to cut off that second. Good running.
Now this is Sai Mukamala's go-to shot. He loves getting on that front foot and going over to mid-wicket. But Sampal Kami knew it. They've seen enough of him in this innings to know he likes that shot. And very cleverly, Sampal Kami took pace off the ball. And it meant Sai Mukamala was well through the shot by the time the ball arrived and clattered into the top of off stump. Great bowling from Sampal Kami.
We've been on the same pitch, the same playing surface for all 3 T20s, Peter, and that's meant that there's been that big disparity with, from this end of the ground, the massive leg side boundary and the shorter, much shorter offside boundary. You were quite critical of USA's strategic fielding in terms of out the far side. The pitch is holding up well, it's playing really well, but that was with their fielding, and when they bowled, they didn't protect the larger side well. But you also feel as though they didn't target the larger side well. They tried to look for 4s and 6s, which weren't going to be possible.
Well, and part of the reason why they've had trouble with that, they've only got one left-hander in the lineup. And it's a left-hander.
This could... Oh, I thought it was going to be a chance. Sorry, Peter. I thought Kami was going to have a go at the non-striker's end.
I know you think the Nepal fielding is good, Lenny, but they're not that good. Come on.
Exceptional they've been. Points for the first 2 games. Well, why is there no other left-handers? Where's Gajanan Singh? Why is he not in the mix?
Well, more recently, you could say, where's Stephen Taylor? What did he do wrong? We talked about it yesterday on the broadcast meeting. I'm going to tell I don't necessarily agree with a player losing their spot through injury. Now, yes, he hadn't been in the best of form prior to getting that knee injury in the Netherlands, but we also talked about he went back to minor league cricket and he scored a hell of a lot of runs.
An excellent over from Sampal Kami, even if they run the second, which they will, because it's well placed again. More lightning fielding from Dipendra Singh Airi. Electric as always. Gets us to the end of the 18th. It's 137 for 4. Peter, what about Stephen Taylor being in the squad but not opening? Like, could that have been a consideration for USA? They could have then had the option of Taylor batting at number 6 or 7, or maybe let's say number 5 even, and still bowl his off breaks because his off spin's very effective.
Well, that's what he's been much more productive in the USA squad doing over the last several years. Is take a look at where USA might be projected to finish up with. I thought they could get to 170 at the...
Ready? 1, 2, 5, go!
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
Bill Sampal-Kami rounds out his spell on the 20th. But I think the mentality of the selectors leaving Stephen Taylor out.
Hit into the offside. Man out there, not quite going to carry. Very nearly did. I was just about to say, sorry to cut you off, Peter, but Dipendra Singh Airi is really taking one for the team here, isn't he? He's bowling off breaks to 2 right-handers with, well, no more than a 50-yard leg side boundary.
Where was your excitement on that ball, Lenny? That was right to Kushal Patel. He grew alligator arms. He didn't go for it. That was a catching chance in my book, Lenny.
Don't think that was quite carrying.
Because he didn't run in for it. He let it bounce in front of him.
Yeah, this is nicely played through the offside, but it's the skipper, Rohit Powley, does really well to keep it to a couple. If Airi can get through this over without a boundary, Peter, it's a serious effort. You've got 2 powerful right-handers and a very short leg side boundary, and only 4 fielders on that leg side. Just 2 in the deep, long on and deep mid-wicket. He's trying to hide the ball away outside the off stump.
Yep.
Hit away for a single. Well, Peter, alligator arms. Often I'll sit next to you and I'll have no idea what you're talking about. This might be another case. Hit down the ground. Powell's got work to do, but he does it well. Just a single.
Have you not seen an alligator in the zoo or in the wild, Lenny? They've got short arms.
We don't have them in Ireland, no.
You spend enough time in other parts of the world, Lenny.
That's true,
you've
actually.
Been down
The
in Florida,
country I spend the least amount of time in is probably my alma mater back home. Alligator arms. Didn't think you'd get that in there tonight.
Short ones.
Well, Dipendra Singh Airi, he's quite remarkable, isn't he? You might look at his figures at the end of tonight. If this ball doesn't go for a boundary, he has done a massive duty for his team here. Just knows his game really well, doesn't he? Knows his angles, knows what he's doing with his off breaks. Exceptional. That is a quite brilliant over. 7 runs from it, and USA just had no answer to the Tiger. Nepal, they've really edged the last 3 overs. They have the momentum, but there's still 1 to go. It's 144 for 4.
नमस्ते भारत तोरीको तेल पाउन
यो लिनुस् नयाँ आको सस्तो पनि छ
प्राकृतिक राग भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ धारा साउजी
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
Final over. 144 for 4 the score. What can USA get to? Really good fielding from Kushal Bertel. He did misfield one down at long on, but this time he does really well to save at least one additional run, if not 3. Do USA have enough here, Peter?
No, for a couple of different reasons. Nepal has had really good batting performances over the course of the first 2 matches. USA is also playing tonight without Ali Khan, so their bowling is a little bit under strength.
And this goes a long way up. He hasn't got enough of it. Anil Shah nestles underneath it. And that's the biggest cheer of the night, because Sampal Kami has another in the most halcyon of 2 days for one of Nepal's finest. He's got 3 for... I'm not sure if Anil Shah could see it out of the floodlights, but he managed to hold on, and Jahangir never got going. He's the latest American batter to fall.
Well, you were saying earlier that you thought Dipendra Singh Airi had the Player of the Series award locked up, Lenny. Sampal Kami might have heard you, and he said, I'm going to have a word with you about that. That was the wicket of Mukamala earlier. He's also fetched Shayan Jahangir, caught it long off, out for 9. And it's 145 for 5 in the final over.
नयाँ लक्स अब पहिलो पटक भिटामिन सी र भिटामिन ई को साथ, जसले मुहारबाट दाग कम गर्छ र दिन्छ बेदाग निखार। नयाँ लक्स, हाम्रो उत्कृष्ट साबुन लक्स अब पाउनुहोस् मात्र रु 50 मा।
सही खोजौं, शुद्ध रोजौं। मुटु चाहिन्छ, मुटु।
Sampal Kami charging into him. Hit into the leg side, no real timing. Powdle hairs in and manages to cut off the second. That was in between the 2 fielders. This was his 3rd wicket, Peter. Just outthought Jahangir again. They haven't got to grips with this around the wicket angle.
Nope. And as soon as it came off the bat, he knew it wasn't going to beat Anil Shah at long off. And the fans knew behind Anil Shah. And one of the things that this innings has shown, again going back to the Stephen Taylor discussion, without him in the lineup, USA hasn't had enough disruption in terms of bowling rhythm for the opposition. It's been right-handers all the way. Now you're seeing Harmeet Singh come to the crease in the final over, but USA's lack of left-handers in the lineup has really hurt them. They need more balance.
Milan Kumar's innings here, 43 off 35. Has he played the role well enough, given it we feel it's a pretty good batting surface again?
I'm not going to fault him. When a lot of other guys in this lineup aren't scoring runs, if you're asking me to criticize a guy who's gotten into the 40s at better than a run a ball, there are a lot of things I will criticize USA about, Andrew Leonard. This isn't one of them.
There, that's more like it. And finally, something to the shorter side. It's Harmeet Singh showing that he does have that ability to clear the ropes, and it's a maximum from the penultimate delivery. It's Harmeet Singh who gets one out of the screws.
Well, I know he's been short of form, but this is why I was saying ad nauseum last night during the Super Over, he should have been out there. He can clear the ropes.
And the 150's up.
And he provides that disruption that I was talking about. You get a left-hand, right-hand combination, it throws the balance back in favor of the batting side because the bowling side struggles to figure out a plan to negate the short boundary on one side.
Final delivery of the first innings should get at least 2. Dipendra Singh Airi is going after this like a rocket. He picks up one-handed, he throws flat. Oh, he's nearly created a chance as the relay goes on to the stumps. Well, Usain Bolt out there on the far side has run about 60 yards to get to that. He's gone from deep extra cover to deep backward point in a matter of moments. He's picked up one-handed and he's lasered it in over the top. The fans have loved that and very nearly created a run-out opportunity. An entertaining finish, nice cameo from Harmeet Singh. Wasn't in there for long, but it could prove an effective one. We saw last night Karen KC's maximum from the final delivery
make a huge difference to the course of the contest tonight. Harmeet Singh picks up 10 off just 3 balls, including 9 off the last 2.